There's a question that people have been asking forever. How do you live a good life? It's probably one of the oldest questions there is. And for thousands of years, people have turned to this short, really powerful poem for an answer, the very first psalm. So let's dive into this ancient guide to what it means to truly flourish.
It all kicks off with this one powerful idea, and you're seeing it here in the original Hebrew, Ashrei Ha'ish. It's this concept of a blessed or, a flourishing life. But this idea wasn't meant to just stay in one place. It was absolutely destined to travel.
And travel it did. From the Near East, it found a new voice in Ge'ez, which is the classical language of Ethiopia. This just goes to show how much it resonated across totally different cultures.
Then, boom, it shows up in Greek. And this was huge, because Greek was the language that carried these kinds of concepts all across the ancient world. It ended up shaping so much of the philosophy and religion for centuries after.
Until, finally, it reaches us in the English we all know. Blessed is the man. Think about that. 4 languages, one single, timeless idea that has journeyed across millennia just to get to us today. Pretty amazing.
Okay, so that brings us to the big question, right? When this ancient text talks about being blessed, what does that actually mean? It's definitely not about luck or just some random good fortune. As we're about to see, the psalmist gives a very specific, and I mean very visual answer.
So this psalm is basically the gateway to the whole collection of 150 psalms, and it leads out its answer by giving us a fundamental choice. This isn't some complicated philosophical essay. It's a simple, really profound picture of 2 completely different ways to walk through the world.
Now, what I find really fascinating here is how it defines these 2 paths. The righteous person, right? They're not just defined by a belief. No, it's an active delight, a constant meditation on a source of wisdom. But the other path, it's all about who you hang out with, the influences you let in, walking, standing, and sitting with people who are cynical or destructive. It's all about who you listen to and where you choose to park yourself.
So to make this first path really hit home, the psalm gives us this incredible living metaphor. It's an image that's so simple on the surface, but wow, is it deep. Let's take a look.
Just try to picture it for a second. A strong, healthy tree, not just growing anywhere, but planted, intentionally placed right next to a constant source of life-giving water. This is not some random weed struggling in the desert. It's a picture of stability, deep nourishment, and purpose.
And this right here perfectly illustrates what the psalm means by blessed. To be like this tree means you're nourished, always drawing life from a deep source. It means you're productive, bearing fruit when the time is right. It means you're resilient. You can handle the tough times without falling apart. And yeah, ultimately, it means you prosper. You flourish in what you do.
Okay, but what about that other path? The psalm doesn't just gently switch gears here. It slams on the brakes, throws the car in reverse, and gives us an image that is the total, complete opposite of that flourishing tree.
4 simple words that just cut right through everything. The ungodly are not so. Everything we just talked about with the tree, its stability, its life, its fruitfulness, just gone, wiped away. They are not like the tree. So what are they like? Well,
They're like chaff. Now, for those of us who aren't, ancient farmers, chaff is basically the useless, papery junk around a grain of wheat. It's totally weightless, it has 0 substance, and it has no purpose of its own.
And this brings us to the absolute core contrast of the psalm. It could not be more stark. On one side, you have the tree, rooted, stable, fruitful, enduring. And on the other, the chaff, rootless, unstable, worthless, and just completely at the mercy of every single gust of wind. It's such a powerful picture of a life that has no foundation, no direction.
So the psalm doesn't just lay out 2 ways of living, it also describes 2 very different destinations. Where do these paths actually lead in the end? Let's jump to the final verses and see how this all wraps up.
See, because the chaff is weightless and rootless, it can't stand when things get serious, when it's tested. It has no stability. It can't find a place among the people who are grounded and solid, the congregation of the righteous. It just gets blown away.
And here it is, the final verdict. The path of the righteous, that tree, is known. And that means it's acknowledged, it's seen, it's cared for. But the path of the ungodly, the chaff, it just perishes. It leads to absolutely nothing.
So, to sum it all up, you've got 2 paths, and they lead to 2 totally different destinies. One is a path of stability and flourishing that's recognized and sustained. The other is a path of instability that just leads to ruin. And the choice, as the psalmist suggests, is up to us. And that kind of leaves us with one final thought, doesn't it? This text is thousands of years old, written for a world so different from ours. And yet, its core metaphors, the rooted tree and the wind-driven chaff, they still feel incredibly real. So the question it leaves for us is this: in our crazy modern world, what does it truly mean to be the tree and not the chaff?